Coach, why don't you just, if you could, just brief us a little bit on what the past few weeks have been like with the guys and Shark Week and going forward.
Well, Shark Week is Shark Week, and I thought our guys did a great job of attacking it. Before that, we went on a team retreat, and there was a lot of we call it psychological challenges, mental stuff that they have to overcome. And in the team retreat, and they did a really good job of that. And then came back, and they attacked Shark Week, and so I was pleased with Phil Byer, our strength coach, should get a lot of credit for it because he had those guys in shape to handle what we did at Shark Week, and so was pleased with that. They got 3 days off, and we went for 2 hours today, and then we'll kick off a big one tomorrow.
Like, how mentally tough does that make a team, especially with a bunch of newcomers, and what kind of foundations that set going forward?
I don't know if I can quantify it. We try to do the best job as we can as a staff to put them in a place of fire. That's what we call it, and see how they respond. And for the most part, we're really pleased with the response.
Jerome, with so many new guys, does it still feel like a bunch of newcomers, or have you spent enough time around them now that it feels like, your team, you've been around them for a while?
No, I feel real comfortable around them, and I think they feel comfortable around each other. But, in a 2-hour practice today, there was probably 3 or 4 things I had to stop and explain, what we're doing, why we're doing it, where, if you have guys for a couple of years, it's not something that you have to, really explain. And so there's some newness to it, but then there's also some familiarity to it also.
How do you see Doug stepping into his new role as the Kansas State point guard?
Doug has really embraced learning what we want him to do as a point guard and be as a leader. And he empties his cup every day and allows us to fill it. And so I've been real pleased with that. But like with everything, every new phase of what we're doing, there are new challenges that he has to face, and then it's up to us as a staff to confront him on it and then give him guidance on how to get through it. And so there's going to be a continual growth, but love the kid. If we were playing football and he was the DB, you're not getting open, and he's going to win the 50-50 ball. And if you flipped it and he became the wide receiver and you're the DB, he's going to go catch that pass. He's that kind of competitor, and so I love having him.
I also wanted to ask a recruiting question for you. We've seen you guys get involved with some highly rated recruits recently that Kansas State traditionally hasn't been all that involved in. How do you think you've made an impression with some of these guys, and what's kind of your philosophy on chasing a 5-star recruit versus some others?
Well, NIL definitely helps. Our alumni have done a great job of helping step up to the plate and help Wildcat NIL along with some others, and so that's been real important to, first of all, getting guys to, it's just a part of the business right now. We've always had a terrific product here. The fan base here is the best in the country. The league we play in is the best in the country. It's there are kids out there that value the family environment that we have here, and the small town feel, the college town, and being the pro sport in your town. That's just that's appealing to a lot of kids out there, and it doesn't matter if they're 4-star, 5-star, whatever. But I've always taken the philosophy of the approach that pretty girl won't dance with you unless you ask her, and so I got no problem asking.
In your guys' first year, you mentioned that Marquise and Ish were so important to kind of the gelling process of bringing all those new guys together. This year with Buddy and David and Taj, how have they stepped into that role a little bit, and what has their role been in kind of getting this group together?
Yeah, no, David Gasson's been incredible. His confidence level is at all-time high, and you can just see, how he carries himself, how he practices. His personality is really blossoming, and that definitely really helps. Taj also is coming along. Taj hasn't had a big of a role, so he's still, fighting and stuff, and, Buddy still trying to figure some things out. So not quite the impact of Ish, fourth-year college guy, and Marquise, a fifth-year college guy, but definitely important in how we've been able to recruit, and then now as we prepare for the season.
And what's been the biggest thing that surprised you about Coleman since he got on campus?
Yeah, no surprises, man. He's done a really good job of rehabbing his knee and changing his body. He's really embraced Phil and what we're doing in the weight room, and Luke, what we're doing rehab-wise. And, he knocked out Shark Week, for a kid who spent 6 weeks in rehab and, a slow build-up to getting in shape. The way he responded to that challenge was super impressive. And, his basketball IQ is really going to help us.
And then it seems like just from the little bits that we've seen him out in public or whatever, that David Castillo kind of has a confidence that's above what you would see from a true freshman. What about him and his personality do you like?
Yeah, he definitely has a approach of a professional, right? Like he's got championship habits, man. Like, how he approaches, pre-practice, post-practice, how he competes in practice, the way he talks to his teammates. And, when things get tough at practice, he's the very best in those moments. The very best of him comes out. And so, yeah, he's not your typical freshman. We knew he was a winner. That's why we recruited him, and he's been better than that being on campus.
I know this is still a team of newcomers in a sense, but, some of the newcomers are experienced college players who have played 3-4 years in college. How much does that help the gelling process when you have guys who, maybe newcomers to K-State but have played college basketball for as long as some of them have?
No, it helps a ton. They've been through the, get up early for a workout or lift and then go shoot. They don't miss home. They've been away from home. There's a lot of maturity things that they've been through already. So then it comes down to basketball and personalities, and they've been yelled at before by a coach, so they know how to respond to it. They've been in real heated competitive practices, and they know how to control their emotions. And so all that, the experience they have coming in really helps. And then guys who have been around winning programs understand, what it looks like, off the court, how much they spend time together, and, just all the team building things and why they're so important.
Have you learned anything about your team over the last few weeks that, maybe you didn't know for sure, but you can sort of now confirm over these last few weeks when you've tested them?
Yeah, they rise to the occasion. Our team retreat, some of the things that we do there, definitely take them out of their comfort zone, and to see them all step up to the plate, that was great. And then Shark Week, that takes you out of your comfort zone, and you have to try to punch through paper ceilings. It feels like you can't take another step, and you got a whole lot more in you. And so to watch them all, and how they encouraged each other, and, bonded, that was impressive.
And how the new guys emerged, or some of the newcomers emerged as leaders or, locker room guys, as they've transitioned to K-State?
You need a variety of people, right? And just because someone is a leader in the basketball environment doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be the leader in the locker room, because that's a different environment, and so allowing guys to operate in their strengths, like the comedian in the locker room is not going to be necessarily the most vocal person on the floor. That's more of a serious time, whereas opposed to when they're, at their apartments or whatever. So I think we have different guys that lead in different moments, and that's okay.
Maybe a little bit of a different question, but I'm curious as to what you would say you like best about taking a group like this, where they're almost all of them, with 3 exceptions, I guess, are learning you, your staff, and this system for the first time. What challenges you, and what do you like best about that challenge?
Phil says this all the time, like that, just it's the ingredients that the chef works with. So when I tell him, man, you've done a great job with these guys' bodies, he goes, Coach, y'all brought some really good guys to the table for me to work with. And I think that's the same thing with us as coaches. The talent level that we have higher than what we've had before across the board. And so that's fun to work with. And then now it's just about an alignment to the assignment. Can we get everybody in line to what it is that we want to accomplish this year? And so that challenge is also a lot of fun.
From the flexible standpoint, multiple position guys, how do you feel going into day one tomorrow about that? It seems like you have quite a few guys that can do many, many things.
Well, you hope so, right? And so next couple of weeks, we're going to figure out, they're going to get us a chance to, they will get a chance to tell us what they can't do. And then we'll go from there. Right now, as a staff, we feel like we do have guys who are versatile and can play multiple positions. But, like I said, over the next 2 weeks, they'll tell on themselves.
I wanted to ask about Max Jones. He's a guy who's played at 2 colleges and, has been through, I guess, a lot of different experiences throughout that process. How much does that help him on the court and off the court, and what role do you see him playing on and off the court?
Yeah, I think what helps Max the most is that he plays with a chip on his shoulder. As a high school kid, he didn't have any scholarship offers till right at the end. Tampa, a Division II school, went there with a chip on his shoulder and really blossomed. Was able to transfer to Fullerton, play Division I basketball, went there with a chip on his shoulder and really blossomed. And came here this summer, and it took him a little while to adjust to the speed and the strength and everything that goes on with high major basketball, but he's done it with a chip on his shoulder, and he's starting to blossom. And so, I expect Max to have a really good season, and doesn't matter what his role is for us, that he's going to blossom in it.
You talked a little bit about the versatility. Also, it seems like you have greater length on this team physically. Would you say the makeup of this roster is kind of what you've been working towards as far as, I guess, the abilities they have, or is that your job always as coach to adjust to what?
Yeah, no, we will try, and we'll bring in the best players that we can get, and that fit who we are as a staff, and then adjust to their talents. I don't want to ever have this is my system and I want to recruit to it. If we have to play 4 guards because our 4 guards are the best for the 5 best players on the team, then that's what we're going to do. And if it's the other way around, 1 guard and 4 forwards, we'll do that too. But I do like the pieces that we can, if a team plays big, we can go big. If a team plays small, we can go small. I like the fact that we have big wings who can both dribble, pass, and shoot, as well as post up. And I believe the size that we have this year is going to help us defensive rebounding, because we haven't been as good of a defensive rebounding team as we need to be.
This is now the second year where you're going to get 4 new teams in the league. Thoughts on getting the 4 corner schools in, and how weird is that to adjust to even more change in the league after being a coach for so long and it being pretty stagnant?
We have practice tomorrow. That's as far as I've thought about. I will say this about our league. Big 12 was the best basketball league in the country before last year, and then we added the conference champion, right? And then we're the best basketball league in the country last year, and now we've added 4 schools, one of them that's picked to win the national championship, and we have 4 or 5 other schools in the league that people are picking to have a chance to win the national championship. So, that's at least 6 games this year. We're going to play against a team that in the preseason people thought had a chance to win a national championship. And so that has to make it exciting for you as a coach and a competitor.
You always have a word on your shirt. Today's word is love. Why love?
Yeah. Well, one of the 3 words I write on the board before every game is love, joy, and freedom. And I want when people watch our teams play, they're around our program, they can sense how much as a staff we love each other, how much we love our players, and how much they love us. And but the other side of that is that some people they just love the lifestyle of basketball and they don't love the game. And for us to be as successful as we're capable of being, and guys to accomplish what they want to accomplish, they got to fall in love with the game and not just the lifestyle.
And obvious question: how excited are you for the first practice?
I was super excited that we got to have everybody for July. This is my first time, 3 years now, 3rd season, and never had a whole team in July. And so that was really exciting. And then, we had a really good preseason, I felt. And so I was excited about that. And so now I'm really excited about the next step that in this whole process. We got 43 days before our first game, and I'm excited about seeing how far we can go from here till then. And we won't be a finished product in 43 days, but we've got certain things we got to get in order to give us a chance to win that first one. And so, just the whole process of this thing is exciting. It was exciting to wake up this morning and feel a chill in the air, and man, it's basketball season. And so that was a lot of fun.
You've obviously had to adjust the way you recruit with the transfer portal and NIL becoming so much more prevalent. I was wondering, have you had to adjust your coaching style at all too in this new culture? Do you find yourself teaching or coaching the guys any differently than you did 5 years ago?
Nah, I don't think so. I mean, I think you'd have to ask the people around me. These guys, there's a point in time when the portal and NIL stops, right? Like that's part of the end of, April, May, June, and then you get your team, and then look, the NIL, the discussion of that and transfer and all that's out the window. Now it's about let's win. Let's figure out how we're going to win, because good business is when both people get what they want, right? So if the player gets NIL, he gets to be in a new position, whether it's playing at a higher level or having a different role, whatever, he got what he wants. But what we want out of this is to win a championship, right? Have great character kids who will help us win a championship. And now it's their turn. We delivered on ours. It's their turn to deliver, and then we have to hold them accountable to get into that. So that accountability piece on our end doesn't leave. That telling them the truth doesn't leave. The loving them through discipline doesn't leave. I'm gonna do those things regardless. Felt like I did it 5 years ago, and I pray that I'm doing it every day now. And if I'm not, I hope I have a staff that look me in the eye and tell me I'm not doing the job.
I also want to ask about shooting. I know during the offseason you really wanted to upgrade in that area. Now that you've seen them for a while, how much better do you think they can shoot right now?
Man, we haven't done we have this shooting drill we do that's like a litmus test to tell you where you're at. And man, last year I'm gonna tell you, in that drill we were really good at it. I didn't expect us to miss as many open shots as we missed last year. Because when you go back and look at it, we got good looks, we just didn't make them at times. And so we're gonna do that drill for the first time tomorrow, and then I'll see where we're at with it. But stat-wise, we've been pretty good shooting the basketball, and so then you have to ask yourself, are you good shooters or are you playing bad defense? And so that's me as a coach. I'm like, yeah, we're shooting whatever from 3, but that means our defense sucks. Or, man, we're really doing a great job of defensive rebound. Oh, that means we're not going to the glass hard enough. Or if we're offensive rebounding really well, and it's like, we're not blocking out. So I'm always it doesn't matter what is there. I'm always thinking, okay, well, what is not there? What are we not doing well? So
you mentioned wanting guys who love basketball. How much does this current group of players love basketball?
I don't know. We'll know at the end, and as they keep going, it's like, I know they like being around each other, and they seem to have smiles on their faces for the most part when they walk in the gym, and so, but it's all the, like, it's everybody can show up for practice. It's all the other little things that go into it that as you examine through the year, you'll find out whether they love the game or the lifestyle, right? Are they excited about Bram being full, right? Is that what they're excited about? That everybody knowing their name, or are they excited about when practice ends that they're gonna go sit in the cold tub and then do the hot cold treatment and then, stretch and then come back later and, get another stretch in with Phil and, they're gonna watch film or practice, that's when you find out if they really love basketball or if they just love the lifestyle.
Coach, you mentioned having all your guys by July this year. How much further along is this group in terms of team chemistry already compared to years past?
Man, that's hard to judge. I know that David and Taj say like things are like going pretty well, and they all the guys like each other, and so that's kind of the thing. It's just hard to put which one's further along or whatever. Because team last year really liked each other. They did for the most part. So
You got one public schedule exhibition game. I assume then your other one is it going to be like a scrimmage against another school? And what is your philosophy on that? What do you try to get out of those two opportunities?
Man, if it was up to me, we'd do 2 close, scrimmages, because you can do so much more. You can do some half court stuff. You can, exhibition game. It's 40 minutes. That's it. And you try to pick a team that you feel like is really going to challenge you, hopefully kick your butt, and then because it's always like a week or so before you play a game, or 2 weeks, whatever it is, and so it gives you something to like harp on and film to like go back to, and so that's kind of what I look for, another high level team that's gonna be real physical with you and challenge you.
Is the exhibition game kind of good though? It's kind of, I guess, a run through to kind of to get the idea of what game day is going to be like, or
yeah, it has a purpose, and I understand it. It's like with anything, if you can have 50 or 60 minutes of basketball, then you get to play more guys more, and as opposed to being limited to 40 minutes. And so if I can get 60, I'd rather get 60 than 40 in these types of things.
Can you kind of give us a rundown between Achor, Bay, and Uganda, and kind of obviously they're all forwards and stuff, but what different things that they're going to bring, and what do you like best about each of the three of them?
Well, Achor's, played 5 years of college basketball, and so he brings a maturity. He played in the junior college national championship, in JUCO. He went to the NCAA tournament at Samford, and so he brings that to the table, and he can really shoot the ball, and when he wants to, he can sit in a stance and guard, and so like that about him. Shot maker, like it's not just squared up looking at the rim shooting it. He flips it up and it goes in pretty easy for him. Ugana's got great size, and he's a rim protector. He's one of the percentage-wise leading shot block guys in the country last year, and we expect him to be a defensive presence, do that. He got some offensive skill too, to him that he hadn't really been allowed to show yet, and so we'll see that. And then Bai's got so much potential and upside, and he runs and jumps, and he's quick off the ground, and it's going to take him a little bit, but I'm excited about his potential.
I'm going to get my pronunciations in season form here soon.
Mm-hmm. Okay, no problem.
And in this beginning part of the season, when you're not necessarily worried about the game you're going to play in 3 days or whatever, how crucial is it to just have the time spent, really, to focus on the guys and getting all the new guys playing as a unit together?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think Frankie Miskelly said this in our staff meeting today, is that we know how many practices we have before the first one, and it never feels like it's enough, right? Because of how many things you want to get in and stuff. So, you know, for me, it's just about, you know, making sure we have the things in that we need to have in, and have a plan for getting the rest of it in. And as far as the guys playing together and stuff, you know, I mean, they've been doing it since July. So now it's up to us to figure out in this period of time how to put them in position to be the best version of themselves and help them understand that.